everyone, I'm Jackie. Thanks Jackie for inviting me today. It's great to be here and great to meet. I've met quite a few of you, but look forward to meeting the rest of you throughout the day. So Jack's asked me to speak about my journey as a rural woman in business and someone who has mental health challenges, what I've learnt and what's worked for me. I'm also going to speak about a challenge I took on last year, which is Finke. And we'll go from there, we'll see how we go. So I'm 41, work for myself. This is my business, JP Creative. This is one of my drone photos that I've taken out here of Dunkeld. I work in marketing, social media, I make videos, fly a drone, and I'm a graphic designer as well. So I love telling stories to inspire others, and I pride myself on being honest, down to earth, and easy to work with. I don't have any children. I ride motorbikes for fun. I ride mountain bikes. I love being in nature, camping, animals. That's one of my pet lambs. Pretty simple person, pretty quiet most of the time, enjoy my own company, but I also love to see my friends and family and love a good laugh and a beer. Looking at me, you probably don't think I ride motorbikes or that I could even ride a motorbike. I can barely see over the lectern, but a lot of people are pretty surprised when they find out that I ride and race dirt bikes, which doesn't surprise me at all, but I've been riding since I was a kid. I got a mini bike for my 7th birthday. I rode around the paddock all the time. I didn't get a proper bike until I was about 24 when I could afford it myself. And this is when I asked my 2 older brothers if I could go riding with them and their mates. They agreed and I did all right. I got up all the hills and after that I didn't look back. When I was about 30, I decided I wanted to try racing and I loved it. I'm 41 at the moment too, I didn't say that before. So that was about 10 or 11 years ago. I've done a lot of 4-hour enduro Ironman races. They call it Ironman, not Iron Woman, but that doesn't bother me. Where you have to ride your bike for 4 hours straight. I've also done the Finke Desert Race, which I'll talk about shortly, and I've raced the Hatta Desert Race 4 times. Like Finke, Hatta is also known as one of Australia's toughest dirt bike races. It's held up near Mildura at Hatta. This is the start of the... No, it's not. This is the start of the race. So at Hatta, 400 bikes line up like this, and the four-wheeler goes across in front of you, and you take off one at a time. This is the most spectacular start of a motorbike race you'd ever see. So it attracts a lot of people up there. I remember seeing a photo of this race not long after I'd started racing, and I thought to myself, I'm going to ride that one day. So in 2000, what's going on?
Am I missing a slide?
Yeah, there's a slide missing. That's all right.
Can you make it work?
Yep. In 2016, I raced Hatta and we did a fundraiser for the McGrath Foundation after my mum Wendy, who's here today. My mum Wendy was diagnosed with breast cancer and we raised $11,000. One year I raced the nil 4-hour enduro Ironman, and I remember seeing the results the next day. I was absolutely shocked to see that I'd finished 7th in one of the hardest races you could do. I had a really good slide here. It was Borat saying, "Great success."
So what is wrong with it?
This was actually one of my proudest moments on a bike because I beat a heap of blokes. And I didn't even have a pit crew. I went up there by myself, I raced for 4 hours, I fueled myself, I gave myself bananas, and you're going constantly, you don't stop, and I came 7th out of about, I couldn't say it, there was like 40-something guys, and overall I came 60th out of about 140 guys and teams, so that's my claim to fame. riding and racing and being in a male-dominated sport, you would think it'd be hard at times, and it is, but the support I've received from everyone involved has been amazing, especially like being supportive and encouraging towards women in the sport. There was this one time though, I showed up to this ride, and this bloke, I didn't know who he was, and he said, "Oh, are you here to cook the barbecue?" And I said, "Nah." And then I kicked his ass. I really don't mind being underestimated, to be honest. It just makes me more determined. I've had many similar experiences in my professional life too, being underestimated. I think it's because I'm a bit rough around the edges and I struggle to put my thoughts into words. I do swear a bit. Sometimes people who know me would say I swear a lot. Oh, there's actually a heap of my slides missing, but it's okay. I know what I'm doing and what I have to do, but sometimes I struggle to explain it to others, and it can make me seem unconfident or that I don't know what I'm doing, and it is very frustrating for me because I'm no good with job interviews. It's probably why I work for myself, because I don't want to go for a job interview. I quite often get overlooked because I don't talk the talk. But I've learned it doesn't matter. I've learned if you can't talk the talk, as long as you can walk the walk and just be yourself, most people do eventually see this, and the right people will appreciate you. Just believe in yourself and eventually other people will too. I'm also someone who has my fair share of mental health challenges, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I read once, the only thing stronger than fear is curiosity, and that's how I feel about mental health and life in general. I'm curious. I want to learn why I am the way I am and why other people are the way they are and how I can be a better version of me. I'm continually learning. You're probably wondering how I'm a person with mental health challenges when I can get up on stage here, I can race motorbikes, and I seem like a pretty happy person, and I run my own business. Well, it's true. I am a happy person. I grew up in a great family. My mum, Wendy, my dad, Russell, and my two older brothers, Matt and Daniel, we had a great life and we were loved. This is, some family photos. No, it's not. The other family photos are gone. No, there they are. Okay, so when I was 14, Dad had a sudden heart attack in front of Mum and I, and he died. He was only 46. Mum and I tried to save him, but we couldn't, and I've blamed myself for that my whole life. What I could have done better and what I should have done. Sorry. The death of my dad has definitely played a huge role in my mental health challenges. Sorry. I didn't expect that. Maybe I should fall off the stage. Okay, that's better. Always fix it with a bit of a laugh. So losing Dad has played a huge role in my mental health challenges, but there's been some other things that have happened, and I haven't really realised this until recently from my childhood. My brothers and I used to have push bikes, and we'd have to ride them down our long driveway to get to the bus. And for some reason, when the boys rode ahead of me, I used to lose my shit. I thought I was going to be left behind, and I'd freak out, I'd cry and scream, and they'd just piss off and laugh at me. The first day of school, I remember I didn't want to go, and I clung to my brother's leg, I clung to Daniel's leg, and I was crying, and he was just mortified because he was in grade 6, I think, and he's trying to get me off his leg, and anyway, he took me off his leg and put me onto a table leg, and then he left. I remember trying to be friends with kids at school and they didn't want to be friends. They ran away and I would chase these kids. But I just wanted to be friends with them. It's all pretty standard stuff for kids. Like, I'm sure you've all got your own stories. But I was always, chasing these people. And if you can't see a pattern here, don't worry, because I didn't see it for 40 fucking years. The pattern is that I've always had this thing about being left behind, being left, chasing people who probably weren't that nice to me. And I have anxiety around people leaving me or dying, or if someone's late, I'll be like, they're dead, you know? Just my theory, but I think losing Dad could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. I think I was already kind of predisposed to this sort of stuff. And I still find myself chasing people, trying to prove my worth and gain approval from people who probably aren't that nice to me. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to go through a big life-changing event like losing a loved one to end up struggling with your mental health. It's no one's fault. Sometimes things can happen, they can affect us, and it can happen with the smallest insignificant things, and you probably don't even know. It can happen to anyone. A lot of my challenges come from not loving myself enough, not valuing myself enough as I should. I'm sure you all relate to this. Don't recognise my worth, but I'm changing that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect by any means. I need to constantly work on myself to make sure I'm the best person I can be for myself and others. So last year I decided to share my mental health struggles, and I challenged myself to race my dirt bike in the Finke Desert Race to raise awareness for mental health and hopefully raise some funds for Beyond Blue. If you haven't heard of Finke, I'll put this video on and hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea of what it's about. That's not me.
The biggest off-road races in the world.
All the newspapers already, she's got this. Katie, I'm a bit on the top step for a while now, so it'd be nice to push them off and get someone else up there. I want to keep racing anything I possibly can. I'll race a lawnmower if I have to.
I had friends talk about the Finke. It's going to be an adventure. I love an adventure. I haven't been lifting any weights or doing any star jumps. I just can't ride, you know.
I crashed my motorbike around here somewhere. Finke then becomes something that I haven't done, something that I should do. Are you nervous, Isaac? A little bit nervous?
Flat rear for the last 30 and I was just, come on baby, get me there. What you going to the kind of dangerous section because everyone's going to be reports of multiple riders down.
You read that comment? Fast as all hell, rough as all hell, dangerous as all hell.
How fast do you think you were going up to?
160 k's. Once in your veins, the race is an incomprehensible addiction.
After that was just meeting the desert.
It's escapism in its purest form.
The atmosphere is just beautiful out here. God's country. It's like nowhere else.
Well done.
So I definitely did not do 160 kilometres an hour. I can tell you that right now. I think my max speed would have been about 120. But to keep that going for 230 k's and then get up the next morning and do it again is pretty difficult. But yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, so here's some photos. That was the day after, like the finish. So I look pretty stuffed there, and I definitely was. But Yeah, so Finke is one of the hardest desert races in Australia and the world. I chose Finke because you have to be tough to attempt it. Oh yeah, that's my face after. So I wanted to show people that I can be mentally and physically tough when it comes to racing dirt bikes, but in other ways I'm not so mentally tough, and that's okay. My initial goal was to raise $5,000 for Beyond Blue, and we smashed it within 24 hours. I finished Finke and we ended up raising $20,000. Yeah, that's me starting Finke on that side. So yeah, the mental health for Finke raised a lot of awareness for mental health and started many conversations. Lots of people came up to me and shared their experiences with mental health. One man came up to me while we were waiting to ride back to Alice Springs, and he just burst into tears. And he was so grateful that I had dedicated my race to mental health. He shared his story with me, and it meant so much to me that I was able to give him that safe space to talk. Does anyone know Toby Price? Yeah. He's pretty cool. He signed my bike. Racing Finke proved to me that I can do anything that I put my mind to. And I am at peace that I've done what I set out to do. Racing has never been about winning for me because I rarely win anything. It's been about proving to myself that I am strong and I can do anything I want to. This mindset also helps me with running my business and dealing with my mental health. Taking on such a big challenge like Finke is a bit like living with mental health. You constantly need to train. You can't expect to just show up to Finke and do it. You need to practice and get your body and mind ready to compete. You can't give up. If you give up, you won't make it. And it's the same with mental health. You have to keep training and you can't give up. It's constant work. If you don't continually work on it, you can't expect to be okay. My mental health is a big reason why I decided to work for myself. I've had 2 stints of running my own business over the years. My career started in St Arnaud, my hometown, at the North Central News, a little newspaper. I think it's got about 20 pages, probably 16 now. I completed an apprenticeship as a graphic pre-press, and I then went on to working for myself for around 8 years doing just graphic design. This is me in 2009 when I opened my shop front. I think I was about 25. So things have changed a bit. There weren't many people in the area skilled in marketing, and I would do a bit here and there to fill the gap when people asked me for help. It was here I realised I loved marketing, and marketing goes hand in hand with graphic design, so I studied and kept learning. I went back into the workforce full-time to pursue a career in marketing, and eventually I worked in a marketing role, and I continued working on developing my skills in digital marketing and social media. I took an interest in drone and video creation, which then became a big hobby of mine, a bit of an obsession really. I reached a point where I dreamed of flying drones and taking footage as a full-time career. I was working in a job, and although I was grateful for the opportunity I was given and I loved it, I was unhappy. I was crying a lot. And you've all said to yourself at one point in your life, I don't get paid enough for this shit. Well, I said that to myself, and I thought that was enough. I decided my happiness was worth a lot more to me than a job. With wanting to take care of my mental health, and after watching my dad die at such a young age, I realised I didn't want to be busting my ass anymore and not living the life as I wanted. I didn't want to be stressed. I wanted to do what I love and enjoy my days. So I love flying drones, love taking videos, I love social media, and I was just taking heaps of images and, just doing little videos here and there. I'd go to motorbike events and film them for them and just put up my videos, and eventually people started asking me to do it as a paid job. So I faced the fear of rejection and failure, followed my heart, quit my job and took on a temporary role while I was building up my client base. 7 months later, here I am 7 months into working for myself with a lot more experience and skills under my belt than when I first started my business, and I absolutely love it. For the first time in my life, I can stand here and say that. I have some fantastic clients who love working with me, and I love working with them. I also squeeze in some sheet work when I can here and there because I love it and it helps with my mental health. So to finish up, I'd like to share, someone just laughed when I said that. But I know sometimes it could be a pain in the ass job to people, but I love it. So to finish up, I'd like to share what I've learned about mental health and life and being in business. These may not resonate with everyone, but it's what I've learnt, and I'm sure you've all got something you could share too, so I'd love to hear those. The first one, which I haven't put on my slides, is to surround yourself with people who support you, appreciate you. I'm lucky to have an amazing family and friends who support me and back me. I wouldn't be here without them. And it's not only just the people who you physically see, but also online. Jackie and I got talking through Instagram, and now we're awesome friends. So, and there's other people here who I've met online, and Jill's one of them. We met through Instagram, and now I'm staying at her house. Bad luck, Jill. So these are some other things. As I said before, I have to keep working on my mental health, and I always keep working on my business. So I think the overall thing is to keep learning, like always keep learning, keep digging. One day you'll get the answers you're looking for, but it is ongoing work. As Steph said before, no one's going to save you. Get out of that victim mentality. That is the biggest thing for me, because I was always like, oh, why does this shit always happen to me? Or, why do people treat me like this? But I'm in charge of who I am and how I react to other people. So you're not a victim. Like, that will be a big key. If you can get out of that victim mentality and take control of your life, it's a huge thing. And don't blame others. And take ownership of your shit. I'm not perfect, I say things I regret. I've dropped the ball a couple of times, or a lot of times, with my business, my life, my friendships, my relationships, and I've stuffed up. I've done things I regret, and then all I do is just self-reflect and have a look at what my part was, and if it hasn't gone the way I wanted, well, I try to focus on that and fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again. Give yourself a break, be kind to yourself. You're doing your best. As long as you're working on yourself and not blaming everyone else for everything that's going on with you, and you're trying to be the best, you're doing good.